Hey guys, what's up? Surmo11 here, and it is official. The sequel series to Steven Universe has been announced. Let's get into it. So the Annecy Film Festival happened. I believe there might be one more day, or today is the last day of the film festival, and basically there's been a lot of news announced across the animation field. That includes Cartoon Network, but also Disney and Pixar. I don't think Nickelodeon had anything there, but if I'm incorrect, please correct me. But yes, the Annecy Film Festival happened, and a lot of things were announced. I'll go over a few things. Obviously, Steven Universe is the main story here, but there's a few things to kind of get into. So Teen Titans Go is actually the longest animated series in DC history, and it is getting a season 10. Fiona and Cake is getting a season 2, and Rebecca Sugar did a song for season 2. Obviously, the new Gumball series is coming. Regular Show is coming back, and work on Regular Show is almost done. The creator is also working on a magical school show. The creator of Dexter's Laboratory announced a new show for Adult Swim, which is about frogs that commit a bank robbery. The new Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends series will be a preschool show, but it has been stated that it will be more of a parody of preschool shows. Also, there was a 3-part collaboration announced called The Elephant, which will have Rebecca Sugar, Ian Jones-Quartey, Pendleton Ward, and Patrick McHale working on that series. And of course, the main story, the Steven Universe sequel series, Lars of the Stars. So I'm going to read what the article says. Executive produced by Sugar alongside her partner and OKKO Let's Be Heroes creator Ian Jones-Quartey, Steven Universe Lars of the Stars will follow up the original show, tracking fan favorite character Lars Bariga, I don't know how you say that, described as an eternal teenager and space outlaw. According to the official description, the sequel series will chart Lars and his pirate crew as they smuggle contraband, evade the authorities, and uncover the darkest secrets of the fallen gem empire. There was another thing I saw that said that Steven Universe Lars of the Stars will continue the story and explore the past, present, and future of the series. Also, the series is going to Amazon Prime. Cartoon Network or HBO Max were not mentioned, which is kind of odd, but I will get into that later. So, I think this is great. I am happy that Steven Universe is back. It's been so long since Steven Universe Future, and I just really loved Steven Universe. I think that out of anything on Cartoon Network, I would want Steven Universe to come back. Now, there were other things that I think we need just because they've got most of modern Cartoon Network back, essentially. Maybe bring back Craig of the Creek. You know, that'd be great. Ben 10, just continue Omniverse or continue that story. That would be great. But I'm still happy with what we got. Obviously, Adventure Time, Regular Show, Steven Universe, and Gumball. That is modern Cartoon Network. And for some of those shows, that's been Cartoon Network maybe like in the past few years. And there haven't really been many new shows. So besides Craig of the Creek, you know, before Craig of the Creek and during the duration of Craig of the Creek, these were the shows that were around. I've also made 2 videos on Steven Universe coming back, and an idea that I've always had for Steven Universe exploring more of the world in the future was to go into space. Steven Universe has done a lot with Beach City, done a lot with the gems and their impact on Beach City, and I guess that sort of area in the world, but like what is going on in space, you know? Are there other races? What happened on Homeworld? Steven Universe was canceled, and I had just found a post that went into more detail about Steven Universe's cancellation. If you don't know the story, it was canceled because of the wedding episode. Basically, Cartoon Network told her, you know, if you do this wedding episode, we're gonna have to cancel the show because other countries are gonna pull funding. And she did the wedding episode anyways, and the show got canceled. They gave her more stuff to do, which is kind of strange. They gave her a movie, and they're like, oh, if you're going to do a movie, you might as well do a series. Very odd. I don't know why that happened, But Steven Universe was supposed to go on for at least 2 more seasons, and Rebecca Sugar wanted Homeworld to be like this big thing. Maybe it was going to be focused on for a season or part of a season, but the show got canceled, so all of that was kind of pushed into the last season. And I guess, maybe some ideas were skipped, and that probably could be pushed to this series. I think going into space is a great idea. They don't have to explore Beach City again, but I do like Beach City. It would be cool to go back there, but maybe not immediately. That could be something in the future. Maybe Steven and Lars have to like team up or something, or Lars has to go to Steven for help. That would be cool. Or maybe Steven and Connie come to save Lars or something like that. I do find it interesting to focus on Lars and not Steven. I know Steven was kind of going through his own things, going to therapy and stuff, going on his own journey. I think it would have been cool to return back to Steven, but I can also understand wanting to explore different characters. I just think that Lars is a very interesting person to make a main character. I don't know if you've seen any spin-off shows, but usually when you take a side character and you make them into a main character, you have to change aspects of the character. You have to make them smarter, you have to make them nicer, you have to make them learn more, you have to make them seem a little bit better than the people around them. So they might have to do that with Lars. Lars wasn't really the nicest character in the show. Even as time went on and Lars developed, he still wasn't the nicest person, which I find interesting because I feel like that's real. Like, I think that people can confront you on your issues. You can have a back and forth with your ideals and everything, but that doesn't mean that you're suddenly a nice person. That doesn't mean suddenly you're the best person out there. People do change, but people don't change like they do in media. They don't just like flip a switch and suddenly they're different. So I respect the more realistic take on a person with Lars. I'm just interested to see like how this character will change by being the central focus of a TV show. If you think about something like the Cleveland show, which obviously is not on the same level or anything, but people thought that Cleveland kind of turned into a black version of Peter. Or if you think about like Gibby becoming a main character in iCarly, or Gibby having his own show. When Gibby got his own show, if you watch the pilot, he's a little bit smarter, he's a little bit like more aware, and that's not necessarily how Gibby was in iCarly. So those are some examples of characters and how they've kind of changed. Because like if you think about Cleveland was always like the voice of reason between Peter, Joe, Quagmire, and himself. In the Cleveland show, he's a little bit more crazy and wacky and everything. Obviously, if Lars is the main character, he has his own pirate crew. The off-colors are probably going to be the main characters as well because they are his crew. Now, I personally didn't love these characters. I don't really know how some of these characters would really be useful as main characters, just because like some of their abilities weren't really that useful, but maybe they'll find a way to make those characters more useful. I think it would be cool to have like another like human character join the crew. Maybe they'll have other characters join the crew. The crew's already kind of big now, but it would be cool to see like someone else join. I'm sure people, I brought up that idea. People were thinking like, wow, it'd be cool if Sadie joined. Don't necessarily want Sadie. I kind of want like a new character or something. Or maybe like another race joins. But like someone who's more like humanoid. I think that would be kind of cool to maybe share like a duo protagonist sort of role with Lars. I think that would be kind of cool. But yeah, I think that Lars being the main character, it's really interesting. I think that there could have been other characters that could have been covered in more detail on their own journey. I know that Connie obviously got a lot of development, but it would have been cool if we got like a Connie and Lion spinoff. Sometimes Connie would work with Lion or ride Lion. Maybe Frybo. I don't know. I believe I saw that Frybo was supposed to have like a bigger role in the series. I don't know why things changed, but it's just like Steven and Connie, but I think it was supposed to be like Steven, Connie, and Frybo or something. I don't know why that character wasn't really relevant as the show went on. It would be cool for Steven to have more friends, but that didn't happen. I also think that the teenage characters in the show would have been interesting to explore as a crew or something, or maybe them working with Lars. As I mentioned earlier, the show will be talking about the past, present, and future of the series. That's interesting. So, by past, are we talking about like Steven? Are we talking about like the Gym Empire? Is that what we're talking about? Just like the past? I think that it would be interesting to have like stories from across the world of Steven Universe, because that's kind of how it sounded to me. Which, yes, you can just do that in a series, but also, like, what if a character's not really relevant to the story, but they had their own story, their own adventure within the world of Steven Universe? That would be cool to cover a character here or there that maybe doesn't really matter, but it's just cool getting more stories within the universe, and it doesn't have to be related to Lars or Steven. Finally, this show is going to Amazon Prime. That is odd. Cartoon Network, HBO Max were not mentioned. I know that recently HBO Max has been going through some changes, probably because people are not watching. People are not watching these streaming services in the way that the streaming services want. I guess they're not making money or something. And yeah, shows are going to different places now. Gumball is going to Hulu for some reason. I think it's going to be on Cartoon Network as well, I hope. But Steven Universe is going to Amazon Prime, and I know people were talking about like maybe the show can be more mature this way. Now, what do you mean by maturity? Because I would say, yeah, they could do like a little bit more like violence or something. That would be okay. But as far as like maturity goes, that's about all I want to see in a show like this. I think that actually Steven Universe is fine how it is, and it doesn't really need to change with another network. I know some people were also speculating like maybe the characters will swear or something. I don't really want to see that, but you know, it might work with Lars's character. I don't really think I need to see that. You know, it's not really necessary. I remember in the trailer for the King of the Hill revival, there was a swear word said that had to be bleeped. And obviously that would be a swear word that can't be said on TV. And I saw someone kind of like complaining about that. Like, they hope that the show doesn't take advantage of streaming and put more swear words into the show, because King of the Hill doesn't really seem like that kind of show. And I understand that some shows might be the way they are because of like how networks are, but maybe that's better with how some of these shows ended up with no cursing, no crazy violence, no crazy mature stuff happening. There are other ways to write this stuff, and you don't need to be very explicit about it. I will be watching this. I do have Amazon Prime. I don't have any other streaming services currently, so I think it's great that it's going to Amazon Prime. I actually haven't watched the Adventure Time streaming content. They did some specials after the show ended, and now they're doing Fiona and Cake. I've watched none of it. I don't really want to get HBO Max, Paramount Plus. I don't really want Netflix. I don't really want to get any of these services. But, you know, if I need to watch the shows, I get the services. But I also don't really want to do that. I think it's great that maybe if streaming was the only way for these shows to get made, I think that's great. I think that's great that these worlds get to continue. It'd be cool if these shows were also on Cartoon Network. But I don't really know what's going on there. I can only speculate. I am tired of streaming. I actually encourage all of these streaming services to fuse back together, and they can be a service called cable or a service called Netflix. I remember a time when it was only Netflix and Hulu, and now there are all these streaming networks, and some of them just aren't successful. So let's stop doing that. But I hope that Lars of the Stars is a huge success. I know that Amazon Prime already has some animation on their service, and they're also starting to put some anime on there, which might not be the best place to put anime, but they're trying, and I hope things work out. This sounds good. I'm happy that Steven Universe is back. I'm happy that a lot of modern Cartoon Network is back. It would be good to get Craig of the Creek, Ben 10, Infinity Train. It'd be cool to get those shows too, but I am grateful for what we have now. It sounds like there is a lot of content coming, and I'm excited to watch a lot of these shows, especially Lars of the Stars. So what did you guys think about this news? Are you excited for any of these shows? What do you think could happen in Lars of the Stars? Could we see Steven appear in this show? Or would that be something saved for later on? Tell me all that and more in the comment section below. Anyways, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you like my content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook. The links are below. I'm Surma11. See you next time, and peace out.